I'm about to do something I've never done before. I'm taking you inside a private can manufacturing business that my husband and I personally invested in. I've never been inside this factory before, so you're coming with me on the first tour.
That's it. Can
I put this on?
Go on, there you go, you put it on. Look, you're a canning woman, Madison. There you go. Aluminium cans are the big mover in the category, so people are moving out of glass, out of plastic, into aluminium.
Look at them all!
I know, incredible, eh?
This is insane!
Yeah, nuts, eh? Right.
Well, I feel like there's only one way to kick this off, isn't there?
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, that's a good sound, isn't it?
Yeah, there you go.
I wanted to start by kind of giving you the thesis as to why my husband and I did invest.
There you go.
We're super appreciative that we had an incredibly early opportunity. And we are a spec on the cap table compared to some really incredible people.
So am I. So am I. We're all specs.
Involved in this. But the people involved in this, you know, Anna Mowbray, Justin Wyborn, the Edgars, Rob Fife, Brendan Lindsay, like incredible New Zealanders in business. And they were definitely part of the reason why we were like,
absolutely.
If you put these people in a room together to solve a problem, something's almost bound to go right. Like the odds are pretty high.
Absolutely.
So that certainly de-risked it in our mind. Can you kind of give me the story as to how it all came together? Who kind of came up with the thesis as to this is a real problem? And then how did these incredible people get together to be the ones to solve it?
Yeah, it's really interesting. And I think your point's really valid, Madison. I mean, this is 100+ million of capital investment here. This is, we call it, New Zealand's most expensive startup, because we're a startup, if you like, but it's just nuts. It's, it's the newest factory of its kind in the world. And you don't do these things unless you're pretty brave and pretty confident. And the reason for it, whether it's our association with our bank or the confidence of the board, is because of those players. They are all individually some of the best entrepreneurs New Zealand's produced, all coming together. And whilst it can make some pretty sporty board discussions for me as CEO.
I am going to ask you about that later on.
Honestly, it is fantastic because everyone has these incredible talents and they're also incredibly enthusiastic. And one of the things I love about them all and with working with them all is they don't just talk to you about what you should do. They get in there and they do it with you. Anna's a really good example where she'll go, I think we should do this, and she'll ring people and she'll go and meet with them and she'll do introductions, etc. So it's a very collaborative approach, and working with amazing people is always so much fun. You learn a lot, which is great for me personally.
Yeah, how does that all work behind closed doors? Because Anna is like an incredible marketing mind. I mean, what she's done with like the AFC within again only a year is absolutely phenomenal. And then Rob Fife's like the operational guy. Talk to me about kind of which players bring what to the company table.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I've been there for a year, so I wasn't there at the initial piece. There in those days, that was really Rob and Jonty Edgar. So Jonty, obviously having huge background with Eon Edgar and the family, he was really able to work with Rob and bring together the concept of how this might work. And Rob's really good at strategy and where there are opportunities in the marketplace. He's done that, whether it's with Air New Zealand, with Icebreaker, Air Canada, and Michael Hill now. So he's well known for that kind of thing. As we then moved into the next phase, and I'd come on board then, I think the people who really helped enormously was Justin Wyborn and his team. We were building a factory, and a number of us have had sort of things to do with that, but this was just an incredible thing to build, and having their help on it was just an extraordinary benefit. Justin literally this was his passion, was the customer area, and I was in the situation was like, I so want it to happen, but I'm so knee deep in the factory. So Justin picked this up, did it, and I think it's amazing. We have customers come in here and go, it's incredible to not come into a dirty lunchroom and meet you, to come into an area, it's built so that people can look at their cans that we're making, sign them off and everything. And then, as we then came in closer to go live, etc., then Anna came in, just like a whirlwind as she is, just amazing. You can see why she's been so successful in her career. And she's so good at creating networks, at creating opportunities. And James Walton, who works with her,
he's phenomenal.
He's amazing.
He's such a cool guy.
Yeah, phenomenal guy. And I've so enjoyed working closely with him. So, everyone brings just a little bit of, specialised expertise, but they're also very good at everything as well. So as I say, the board meetings are great. People are really good at keeping their eye on what's the future looking like and where are we going. rather than what happened last week or whatever, which is pretty helpful.
What is the mission here? Obviously to steal market share off the other players, but it's bigger than that, isn't it? What's like the grand goal?
Yeah, I mean, so the way it works is by 2030 we want to have rid New Zealand of plastic bottles. Anything under a litre should just not be in play. I mean, it's an embarrassment. I've just come back from China. I was in Japan earlier this year, both on holidays. It's just really embarrassing to be walking around Japan and you'll go into a 7-Eleven and there's bottles which are aluminium, there's cans which are obviously aluminium, and there's a little bit of glass. There's not a piece of plastic in sight.
I mean, even in America, they sell water in a box or in aluminium at the airport.
It's somewhat embarrassing that the Americans are so much further down the pathway of aluminium than we are.
And we consider ourselves a clean green country.
Absolutely.
And we're not, really.
And that was really back to your original question there, Madison. That's really the start of this. So Rob was there and he travels a lot and everything, and what he'd seen around the world is that aluminium is the way of the future. It's an amazing product. It's endlessly recyclable. It's light. It's this amazing product that you want to hook onto and move out of plastic and glass. Plastic because of the health issues, etc., obviously, and bad for the planet. And glass because it's heavy, so it's high emissions. When you're recycling it, if you smash it, it creates an enormous problem. So both of those products are, they're fine in the 70s and 80s when we didn't know so much, but now they're yesterday's products. They're kind of like the dinosaur that hasn't been told it's dead yet, So we're in a transition phase in the world, but the guts of it is New Zealand is way behind. And part of that is because there was two players in this market and they were capped out as to how much supply they had.
Were they in terms of capacity?
Yeah. So they're maxed out. And
were they public about that, or did you just know that from talking to players?
Definitely
in the
heard it from Rob and the others. But what that meant for the market is if you were a small player, it was very constraining because they were quite naturally looking after their big customers, as you would. And so there was not so much innovation, there was not so much focus on the small people.
There was a production bottleneck.
Yeah.
That was actually limiting our ability to move to more aluminium.
And as you well know, New Zealand is the small business. That's what most of our business is.
90-something% of this country.
Yeah. So Rob saw that as a real opportunity, a duopoly, a shift in the marketplace, the global marketplace, into aluminium, and then an inability for that supply to carry on. And so the view was if someone created another factory, that would then become the impetus for the market to move faster.
Let's go and see this factory for ourselves.
Here it is. It's going.
There it is. This is the factory. 3 years in the build. It's basically the layout of it is the middle bit is the factory, and then on either side is spare space.
Okay.
So it's 16,000 square metres of factory. And the reason that it's laid out like this is it gives us room to move into another can line, do it again, or on the other side, put aluminium bottles in.
Okay, so there's space for expansion.
Yeah,
still.
absolutely,
We like
absolutely, yeah. So our plan is you first of all enter the market, you kind of get some market share, grow, and then aluminium cans are the big mover in the categories. So people are moving out of glass, out of plastic. Into aluminium. So as that happens, each year there's about 100 million more cans coming across.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's without growth or anything. That's just the market shift. People deciding they'll drink out of aluminium because it's more healthy, more,
Do you have any data on the amount of plastic and glass to shift into cans? Because ultimately that runs out at some stage. Once everything moves to cans, then it's like max can.
Yeah.
Is there any room to grow beyond that? Is that, I understand that we import some cans from China. Do you start to steal that market too?
Yeah.
Do you then move into Australian and export demand?
All of those are exactly right, basically. Yeah. So when we came in, there was about 200 million cans coming from Australia and China. And essentially that was because the two big players here, Visi and Aurora, were capped out. And their factories are surrounded by other big factories, and so they can't expand. And so we've come in and added capacity. So at full noise here, we're another 600 million cans, and the market at the moment is 1.2 billion. So the first thing we've done is we've captured a lot of the cans that were being imported in. Quite frankly, those were relatively easy to get because people like a New Zealand business. They
It's
like
just easy to steal market share if you're
of
super
that,
aggressive and you're fresh, right?
Yeah, and then the other piece we've now been doing is targeting this low end of the market. All of the people, the micro brewers, the small businesses. And the reason for that is our equipment is all built around being flexible. So it's a bit of a shame if we take this plant and then we use it to do 500 million Coke cans, because it's just a waste of all of the equipment that is really fast at shifting from one to another. So our target is the bottom to the middle, and then our competitors are really in the top end. And what we'll see across time is 100 million a year cans coming across. And of course, that will really help us because our competitors can't really add that to their market share.
One New Zealand cares as much as I do about connecting businesses with their customers, each other and the world. They've invested in some of the best technology on offer, from cybersecurity to cloud storage to mobile and data coverage, including from space. One New Zealand CEO, Jason Paris, cares so much about connecting Kiwis, he even answers customer queries himself online. How do you have time for that, JP?
I love being everyone's personal account manager. It is a massive commitment, but I enjoy it because it's the only way I can truly understand what's going well and not so well within the business.
Tell me a story about a connection that you've made while leading 1NZ.
I can't go past our connection with SpaceX and of course Starlink. So increasing coverage across all of Aotearoa by using space technology direct to your mobile phone means huge productivity and health and safety gains for the country. AI is the next generation of technology hitting us fast. Our aim is to be the most AI-enabled telco on the planet. We're working with a whole range of partners globally to make that happen. Again, massive productivity gains for our business and for our customers, and we think it's the next growth industry opportunity for New Zealand.
But to leverage the AI opportunity in front of us, we need a world-class connection. 1NZ is here to help you on that journey. Bruce is going to show us how these cans are made. The first step starts with the cuppa and a huge roll of aluminium sheet.
So essentially what's happening is these are 8 tons of metal that comes in, like a toilet roll.
And it's pressing them into cans.
Yeah, so what you'll see, it makes them into what's called cups. But yeah, that's the start of it.
So this is step one.
Yeah, absolutely. First step of many. You'll see them as we go.
So cool.
Stop for the moment. So they're going up there.
Wow.
So that's what they're making.
Oh, it's warm.
Yeah. So in essence, if you think it's cut a big circle of metal out, and then a piece is pushed that down into a device that makes it that shape.
And then which part of the can is this?
So this is from the base, to the top to the shoulders. Yeah.
Can I put this on?
Go on, there you go.
Good
You
luck.
put it on. Look,
Bye.
you're a canning woman, Madison. There you go. We've got nearly 5 kilometres of conveyor belts upstairs, all run like this with compressed air, and that enables us to run this, change over labels and all the rest, and then have them going on, and then they're faster than that because we run them 2 at a time.
Once the base of the can is made, they enter this machine where they're stretched and start to look more like a can.
We saw those come off the cover.
Yep.
They're now coming down this conveyor belt here, and they're sitting like that.
Yep.
Right? And then this is a shaft, and on the bottom of it has the shape of what's called a dome, which is that.
And it punches it
And
up.
so that is punching into that, and stretching it like that, and turning it into the covered in lubricant. You can see the lube everywhere there. And that's quite hard to see, right? That's operating at 5 times a second it's going. You can't,
Wow.
My eye can kind of see 2, but you see on the machine they're operating.
Starting to look like it.
Yeah, you don't want to drink that lube.
Where's this piece of machinery from?
So all of it's from Belvac, and it comes from about 5 countries around the world.
Okay.
This tends to be their proprietary stuff. This is Schuler up there. When you basically, as a buyer, you work out what's important, and then they work out the best type of equipment to get you,
Right.
and they pull it together.
How many canning machinery suppliers are there in the world? Is Belvac like one of very few?
Yeah, relatively few. There'll be 5 or 6 who could do what Belvac does, and then for each type of equipment, there's 4 or 5. Yeah.
And you've got a number of these running.
Yeah, so we have 8 of these body makers.
8?
Yeah. The reason we have so many of them is, say on the 330, which does big runs, we need about 6, But what we use the other two for is to move over into a new can type. So then when it comes to changing over, we're much faster.
Something's already ready to go.
Yeah.
Do you mind me asking how much one of these costs?
Each of those will be $2 or $3 million US.
And you've got 8 of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is not for the faint hearted, this factory.
It's like quite an engineering.
Oh yeah. It's all high tech. Out of my pay grade. I don't know.
Same.
Yeah.
The stretched cans then move down this conveyor belt and head to be washed and dried before they can be covered with ink.
Okay, so what we've got here is a washer. So fundamentally, it's the most expensive washing machine that you've got in your house for dishes.
Bigger than my
But yeah, and it's like kind of 20 million worth of stuff, right? So it's basically doing 7 cycles.
Okay.
And what it's made for is to take the lube off the can. Because next we're going to put inks on them and we're going to protect the inside. So it has to stick. And then we've got our pit. So from that, the lube has to go everywhere. You've seen how much we use of it. It's a lot of lube. And this lube is massively expensive. You know,
how much are we talking per litre or per
I don't honestly know. But I know it's a massive number that comes through.
Yeah, and you have to use it.
Absolutely. So this machine here delivers all the lube into the lube pit. So come into the lube pit.
I don't remember there being any terminology about a lube pit in the first investment memorandum I received from.
I'm not sure. I wasn't around for the first one, but to be honest, yeah, I think the lube pit, everyone always looks at it with this sort of like, that's kind of weird. It's like that machine over there. Everyone looks and goes, I don't want to look, and then go.
They say though to invest in dirty businesses.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's the dirtiest business of all.
Okay, now the dirty steps are out of the way, the cans are ready to be finished. They're going to be covered with ink on the outside and then coated internally.
So this is a base coater. A base coat is basically putting an undercoat on the can. Not everyone does it. Some people like the metal to shine through for their brand. But if you do this, the colours ping a bit more. So that's why a lot of people do this. So what you've got here is this is the inner lining that goes on the can. So basically they're coming down there, going through, and there's an internal spray.
What is that spray?
It's a type of epoxy, right? And so it sprays.
Like a resin?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Depending on the product, you have a different thickness of the coating. So when you're in energy drinks or wine, for instance, you're right at the top end. Mineral water with nothing else, no lemon, it's right at the bottom end.
Once the cans have been printed for customers, they're stored on site. And this shows you just how much demand there is in the market.
Look at them all!
I know, incredible, eh?
This is insane!
Yeah, nuts, eh?
So this is easily hundreds of thousands, if not millions of cans.
This is 30 million cans. Yeah, 30 million cans that are in the process. So we're coming into the peak period of the year.
Summer.
Yeah. So everyone's suddenly, so basically we hit Labour weekend and suddenly it gets sunny and everyone starts drinking beer, mineral drinks, etc.
Absolutely.
Goes berserk. And so, yeah, this is 30 million cans that are in the process of being sent now to be filled. So remembering we make the can, we then provide the end and the can to a filler who puts whatever it is, mineral water or something in there and seals it.
So you don't do any of the liquid here?
Nothing at all.
It's pure can?
Just cans, yeah. Yeah, so we're not a filler. We work with fillers and we work with brands like beer brands. So, you know, this is filled full of, you know, most of the micro brewing, the beer groups.
Is that a 0% cider?
Yeah, looks like it.
Oh, that's going to be me come summer.
Yeah.
But look at this.
Yeah, fantastic, eh?
I don't know about you, but when you see this, like you feel pretty proud. It's hard not to.
It's amazing, eh? Guys done amazing things. And the warehouse crew have now moved from like setting up to now, they are putting out, you know, 5 or 6 million cans a week out to customers. This out the back here is just trucks, forklifts, all the rest.
Like how long do you store the cans here for customers?
Well, as little as we can.
Yeah. The aim is to get them out.
Yeah, I get grumpy if it's here for a long time because this is working capital basically.
Absolutely. And one thing I find interesting about this business, which I didn't know until you told me, is that you don't actually book the revenue until these leave the factory.
Yeah.
So
correct.
at the moment, these are still on your balance sheet.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah,
or is that just how the industry operates?
Well, it's how the industry works, but yeah, it is a bit weird.
So you're like, let's get these out, and then you get to book the rest.
And the trick for us is because we have low MOQs, there's really no excuse for customers or us to be holding lots of inventory.
Unless they would rather you hold the risk.
Yeah, but for us, what we try to do is say, hey, how many cans do you want over the next 3 months? And go, cool, we'll deliver those. And then we just manage this side. It's much more effective.
A lot of these I'm seeing craft beer operators
Yep.
And we've spoken a lot about innovation in the beverage market,
Yep.
which is awesome and part of the trend that's allowed this to occur.
Yep.
But there's also a lot of risk inherently in that as well. With all of these startups and craft brewers, a lot of them are going under,
Yeah.
especially in this economy because craft beer is more expensive.
Absolutely.
People aren't drinking and
Yep.
spending as much.
Yep.
Are you seeing a bit of risk involved with that? Have you seen some go under?
Well, so we haven't seen our customers go under, but it's Fortune Favours in Wellington, which is like a 25-year, really famous brewing group. There's others that have just stopped, so they haven't gone into liquidation. They just said we're not going to keep going.
Right.
I mean, it's a tough market out there.
Yeah,
it's
brutal.
really hard right now for everyone. Retail is in a terrible state. So we're finding, to be frank, what we're having to do is to work really well with our customers. Having to manage cash flow with them and all the rest. Because they're sitting there going, I haven't been paid, and I'm going, I want to be paid. So you got to work out how you're going to deal with people.
It's all a domino effect in this industry.
It really is. So we've been lucky so far that we haven't been hit with anything massive. But without a doubt, the smaller the customer gets, the more likely that risk is.
Right. So you can almost see that as their order quantities start to shrink or their frequency of order starts to decrease.
Usually they've made an order, but their drawdown of the cans is slower than they thought.
Interesting.
And that's when you start noticing it.
And then at that point you start asking questions?
Yeah, it's usually around, we can put 30 million cans here. We run out of space real quick.
It looks like you're already running out of space.
Yeah, I know. We're pretty
good
full.
problem to have.
Yeah, we're pretty full. We're banging cans out to the customers so fast. John and the guys are doing a fantastic job on moving cans every day. I'm surprised you can't hear trucks behind us just making noise. Yeah, so it's when suddenly you start going, hey, we've had these cans now for like 5 months and you haven't drawn them, what's happening?
It's
and
just
all the rest.
stacks and stacks and stacks of cans.
Yeah, it's just endless, It's endless.
I've never seen so much aluminium in one place.
I know. Yeah.
This is amazing. Congratulations, this is so cool.
Oh yeah, it's really cool.
You should be so proud.
Thank you for being an investor.
I'm a speck on the cap
That's
table
all right, that's all
compared
right.
to some of the other
We're all
players.
specs, we're all specs. Hopefully our spec one day is a bigger spec.
That's the aim, right?
Yeah.
That's so cool.